So this is my first video on why I've decided to go back to learning to code again. And over the years, I'll probably tell bits and pieces of my story, but being a person who has had a couple of different careers, for the last 8 years, I've been doing HR work and special projects and things like that, using lots of web-based programs and needing to learn some HTML and CSS in order to kind of get by with what I was doing. Before that, I spent probably about 14 years, 12 to 14 years as a social worker, and I didn't need to use anything but whatever the database that was used at the clinics or the hospitals that I worked at, and doing documentation. So the only thing that I used on the computer for all those years was mainly word processing, email, and that type of thing. But I've always had, even before that, interest in technology and learning how to code. I used WordPress to do blogs, I used Blogger, and there's different bits and pieces to learning how to code for that. My husband recently went to a boot camp and is now working for a large utility company. Prior to that, he spent about 18 years in IT and then learning how to do some type of software development for about 3 years or so before his job was outsourced. Then after boot camp, he worked for another organization. One didn't work out, so then he got another offer, and he had actually a number of offers each time he was between jobs, because he had the IT background, so that really helped him. But I'm coming from a background where I have now 20 years of other types of experience. I have a master's degree in social work, a bachelor's in communication, so I am totally non-tech degree, non-tech background. I have a people background, and I love computers, and so I'm trying to find my way through things, and I've learned a lot of things online, but I'm not your typical 20-year-old, way past that. And I've had multiple careers, and they are not in computer science, they're not in math, they're not in any type of thing. So a lot of people are going through this phase where they're like, hey, I should go learn something else, and what can I do with whatever your passions are in order to learn coding and be able to contribute to that. So one of the things is that I like to teach. If I can learn enough coding and get the experience, I'd love to go back and try to incorporate that into something. Maybe do some missions overseas and teaching doing some teaching with kids or something, but that's a couple of years down the line as I get experience. Now I've done, I don't know, dozens of programs where I've started trying to learn how to code, from Udemy to Treehouse to Free Code Camp and the prep courses, and I would start and I'd get stuck, and then there was nobody to help. And so I just don't know what to do, and I fell upon this app called Career Karma, where they talked about they could help you get into a boot camp, help you change your career even though you had no experience in tech, and build this group, this tribe, this support group kind of thing. And then that's how I learned about a boot camp that seems where I can continue to work. I don't have to go heavily into debt. And boot camps can cost anywhere from like $12,000 to going on this shared type of program where you don't have to pay them until after for 2 to 4 years of working, and that could end up being like $30,000 to $40,000. But nucamp, N-U-C-A-M-P, nucamp boot camp, is around the U.S. In many cities, even small cities, because you study during the week while you're working, and then you can have study groups like on Slack, and then on Saturdays you have a conference call where there's an actual teacher who is working through whatever the programs that you have, and you can have connections with them during the week. But they do the actual in-person, I think it's about 3 or 4 hours on a Saturday. And so I want to take the fundamentals course, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which is 4 weeks. and it's only $320 or something dollars, maybe $380. It's under $400. There's a front-end developer course after that, or a full stack developer course, and I want to take the full stack because that adds on to the database part of the front end. And I think that course is under $2,000. Well, it is under $2,000. It's somewhere between $1,700, maybe $1,800, versus 10 times, you know, more than that for many other courses. So this is the beginning of my journey to learning how to code again. And I'll try to post at least once a week about things that I'm going through, things that I'm learning, the top tips for what I'm, you know, think if people are looking at changing their career from a non-tech career. Also being somebody who is older and changing careers after 20 years of doing other things, and what things that I've learned and people might benefit from, or maybe nobody will watch this and this is just my document of where I was and where I hope to be. So by the same time, this time next year, I should be finished with learning all of the things that I need to learn part-time while I'm working full-time, and then achieving my goals of doing what I'd like to do would be continuing to work remotely. I work remotely now with my HR job, but I'd like to have a remote job where I can keep learning on coding, and also work on a nonprofit thing that we're doing. And I'm going to start already on day 20 of Career Karma's 21-day challenge. I've researched a bunch of different boot camps, and I'm really heavily leaning now towards nucamp. Probably February's start date for their fundamentals course, and then between now and that, when that course starts, I'm going to do the flatiron prep course, but their prep course includes HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Ruby, and I'm going to skip the Ruby part because that's not what's going to be in the fundamentals of the course that I'm looking for. Now, why am I not doing a self-taught type of program is because I've been trying to do that for years. I just don't have the discipline and the time to do it, and I think if I pay and have a designated instructor and a cohort group of students that were all in the same, going through the same coursework at the same time, that will be better for me to do. If I could go to a boot camp full time, that would be better because it's totally immersive, but financially just not able to do that. So that's where I'm coming from.